it's been a very tough almost 2 years for everybody across the world.
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you have for people who have lost the Christmas spirit?
I don't know. I feel bad for them because I honestly like you can't let it go. Just I have this song called "Make It Happen," and there's one section, and it goes, "Don't let go, don't never ever let go. You can't let it go. You gotta hold on to that spirit. You gotta hold on to it." No, I'm joking. I'm being silly, but I really mean it. And I don't know. I've always been like I've been so it's a real thing that I love Christmas. People make fun of me for loving Christmas this much. People that I truly respect are like, well, you love Christmas. And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh, Super Bowl's coming up, halftime show, jaw-dropping lineup. And why am I talking to you about football?
Oh,
Whoa, you know
I
what I'm
was
talking.
I was supposed to be there in the game.
Hmm. You gave
Playing
up
in
a
the game.
USC football scholarship to pursue music. Yeah, now
Because
you
I
get
was
hits.
getting hit.
You get hits now. It's the same thing, right? Getting hits. Come on. Oh, you can have
Ooh.
that one.
I went from getting hit to making
Yes.
hits.
There you go. You can
Leslie, you
have it.
just gonna give me that bar like
I'm gonna
that?
let you have it. We got the proof that I gave it to you. Why do you want to make sure that Black millennials and Gen Z are particularly aware of what's going on and the ways you intend to work through the matter?
Well, I want to tell you that I am very much aware that Blacks and Black millennials in particular are negatively impacted by these irresponsible credit bureaus.
So, you recently revisited an old conversation about being dubbed too sexy by members of the Christian community. As
Mhm.
things become more progressive in multiple aspects of our culture, why do you think too sexy is still a thing for some Christians?
I don't think it's just Christians because the Christians weren't the only people who were on my pages saying stuff. So I think we like to tag, the believers. But there's a certain amount of modesty that comes with being a believer, but everyone just defines that depending upon how you were raised and what culture you grew up in.
People are so into your character on Harlem. What's your favorite thing about Camille?
um, I like how quirky she is and how goofy and offbeat. That's something that I can relate to. This is probably the closest character that I've played to myself. And yeah, I love everything about who she is. I like cried when I got the role because I was just so excited to be able to play a character that I'm excited every morning when I wake up and I get to play her and see what the heck I'm gonna do that I have no idea that I'm gonna do.
Okay. So I want to talk about, your first few albums, you were bouncing around, labels folding, and in retrospect, how do you feel like all of that impacted your career?
Um, you know, when I think about it, it's like being a orphan, right? You know what I'm saying? And you bouncing from home to home looking for that love because your original parents, is not there. And that's how I felt when I first got on the label that I was on. I didn't know anything about, labels folding and mergers and things of that nature, but I learned fast.
All right. Passing it on. Malika Andrews calls her sister out on air for allegedly wearing her watch.
You got it. Girl, why you wear my watch? Hey. I think you stole it from me. Hey. I said, girl, why you got on my watch? Hey. I think you stole it from me. Take off my watch. Yeah. Hey. Take off my watch. Hey. Take off my watch. Hey. Take off my watch. Yeah. Yeah. Take it off.
Yes. Okay. How do you feel about Beyonce bringing this back to the mainstream and especially with your song being a part of it?
Um, One word, honored.
And how you initially felt like you were left out of the neo soul movement in Philly. Then tell me a little bit how that felt and how you rounded the corner to realizing there was something else for you.
Well, to even go into that a little further, during that time, during the Philly explosion of the late '90s, early 2000s, which I'm proud to say I was a part of that as as a contributor in writing. But at the time, I was really working very hard for everyone to know me as Eric Roberson, the songwriter.
Hours happen, but what's your regular writing process? Do you start with music, lyrics? How do your songs generally form?
These days, I mean, it's varied over the years, but these days when I write, I kind of go through tracks or like chord progression loops, and whatever I'm drawn to, I just kind of sit and like let it wash over me. Like, okay, how does this make me feel?
5 seasons, you portrayed an example of steadfast and strong Black womanhood that inspired a generation of Black women. Did you have any idea in real time that that was the impact you were making?
No. I get locked in, it's very, very difficult for me to quit. So I had to just really I had to be a bitch. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's my truth.
So, aside from being a bitch, what sort of tips can you offer people also embarking on this journey? Hey, Blavity fam. Thanks for joining us for another Blavity Live. My name is Leslie D. Rose, and I'm a features writer at Blavity News. More than 2 decades ago, today's guest was a rising rap star taking the genre by storm. But one evening at a Louisiana nightclub forever changed his life, and he spent 21 years in prison until being released in June after being granted clemency this past spring. I am so honored to have joining us in his first on-camera interview since being released, Mac Phipps. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Well, Merry Christmas, Mariah.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, Miss Leslie.